Here we go. I don't even know what side of my head that is. Okay, that's the side of my head. Interesting. Interesting. When somebody else does your hair, it's interesting. Yeah. So, good evening. Good evening. Ooh, I'm going to make sure that I'm on at the right time. Yay for that. Um what do we got going on here? Oh, wrong thing. Okay. Cheryl Siegel, good evening. Hopefully you can see and hear me. Let me know if you can't. What is it? Wednesday, 8 p.m. YouTube. Yes. Melissa, nice to see you too. I will check my sound, whatever you call system settings and sound. See and hear. Thank you, Cheryl. I wicked appreciate it. So good evening. It is 8 p.m. Eastern, and I'm kind of tired, so I don't have my other lamp on. So the light may look a little bit different. And I decided to get into my robe because I just felt like it. There we go. Hey, Leslie is in the. I gotta, you know what? I realized I gotta bump up this font right here. Font, Johnny. Font. There we go. All right, smaller me, larger thee. Good evening from the Charlotte, North Carolina airport. Layover heading to Venice. And I bet it's not Venice, Florida, which is a lovely place, except for the fact that it's in Florida. Yay, Leslie, so cool. Hello, Kim Harris and Cheryl Siegel and Melissa, Shannon and Retrograde, Judy Dukes. I love it. Okay, Melissa, I hate cooking, trying to cook dinner, so my husband is not always cooking. Keep it simple, hun. Keep it simple, stupid. I don't really care for cooking, so don't hate it, but pick some simple things and learn how to do some simple things well and have that be like your wheelhouse. Okay. I will say, my husband usually cooks. So when he's away, I'm kind of like, I have to cook and I'm cooking wicked simple stuff. Okay. Keep it simple. Don't overly complicate it. You'll do fine. Okay. Yeah, Cheryl. And who doesn't love comfy, soft clothes? Well, I guess those people who like hard, crunchy, uncomfortable clothes, but that's not me. And yeah, this robe is feeling cozy. Can you feel how I'm like cozying up right now? Yeah. I'm looking at my day, and if you can see right here, just kind of from a distance, this was my day starting at around 7:30 a.m. and now it's 8 p.m. I have had a busy day today. Hey, there we go. There we go. Marietta. Can't even pronounce things anymore. Got all my returns together. Win, win, thank you. Well, you're welcome, but here's how you can thank me. You can thank me by letting me know what made a difference. What helped you? And yay, Judy Dukes is yaying you on Marietta too. Now, for those of you who were not on today's YouTube, TikTok live rather, Marietta, and again, there's a handful of us, and I figure we all know each other, but in case there's anybody random, Beth, Destination Declutter, Decluttering Life Coach. Viking Cruise, so good. So earlier today, about less than 12 hours ago, Marietta was railing, kind of like Melissa saying, I hate cooking, is she was railing at the fact that she hates doing returns. And yet, right now, she got all her returns together. So Marietta, I'm curious. So you can learn what made a difference for you, but so other people might be able to learn what worked for you that got you out of kind of the struggle with it and got your stuff going in. Okay, awesome. So she's saying, and I do this all the time, just so you know, it's a habit from being on TikTok, because when you upload a TikTok video to YouTube, the written comments do not carry. So I'm just in the habit of rereading them, but that's also for anybody who's walking around and can't watch the screen. So Mariette is saying accountability, 100%, admitting my issue and chunking it down. Yay. So notice that getting some accountability. Now, I just happened to be there and pretty much said, would you like some accountability? Because it's, as I like to say, one of the many services I offer. But getting accountability from other people can be helpful too when I'm not around. So notice that. I was giving myself, actually, you can see it out of the corner here. I gave some accountability. If you look right here in the corner, you're going to see one, two, three, four photo albums that had been filled with photos for, like, honest to God, over 30 years. I have been lugging those things around with me for 30 years. Now, the crazy thing is, and hey, Narelle, it's a lunch break where you go. This is the crazy thing. Now, these weren't taking up too much room, but did I ever really look at them? No. They've been in the closet over there for the longest time. And now what I'm left with, so this is comical to me. This is not the entire thing, but I have a stack of pictures for other people that I don't even know. They're more architectural photos. I have a modest collection of pictures I'm going to send to one specific person, a equally number, another person, and then the pictures I'm going to save for myself is maybe about an inch. Now, I'm so psyched about that. And you know what helped me is what helped Marietta. And Marietta, in case you're not watching the screen, Leslie, who's heading to Venice on a Viking river cruise. Man, I want to hear all about it when you get home, because I heard about those when I was watching Downton Abbey. Downton. And man, it sounds like fun. And Narelle, it's lunch where you are. So accountability. Saying, hey, I'm going to do something. And here's the thing. You held yourself accountable, Marietta, to your own self. You kept a promise to yourself using the handy tool of promising somebody else. So yay for you being a woman of your word. I kept my word to myself. I did the thing I said I was going to do. Yay, hun. Yay. And admitting your issues, sometimes it's just sharing it and finding different ways to go through it. So yay you. Now, chunking it down is really, to me, is such, writing down and chunking down. Once, of course, you have kind of calmed down your nervous system, making sure you feel good. And I love it. Leslie says, I'm tracking the photo journey, Beth. That's on my list. Yeah. Yeah, this is my journey of going through my photos. And the other part I didn't even show you, though, actually, was right here. So many of them happily in the trash can. Happily in the trash can. I broke the seal. I said, I don't have to keep all of these. Yeah. There are going to be different things that help us all get through things that don't necessarily initially either come easy to us or that we enjoy doing. Having a little help, a tool in your toolkit to make it easier for you to do something. Nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in it. Getting some accountability. Me telling you guys, I am going through my photos, saying that I was going to have one of these emptied by tonight. Well, you know what happened? I got started and it became much easier than I thought. So I kept on going. Again, 30 years worth. Now, do I still have to reorganize some of those and et cetera? Oh, of course. I am closer to feeling good about those things now than I ever have in the past 30 years. I love it. But I got some accountability. I kept my promise because I also kept a promise to you guys. I didn't want to show up saying, no, I didn't do it. So figuring out what helps you get some stuff done, can help. Now, Melissa, this sounds really tasty. Mashed potato biscuits, fresh green beans, and vegan chicken cutlets. Sign me up. I will say, Leslie, I'm drinking water. I'm hydrating so you don't have to. I had a delicious sandwich for dinner, and I confess, I ate more of it than I planned on because it was so good. I kept on eating it. A banh mi sandwich. It's like a Korean hoagie, as they would say where I live. So good. All right. So Marietta says, got the items all together. grouping like items together as opposed to scattered around. Asked my hubby for a spare box and went online to get the return label. This was a TikTok shop stuff. So next is different purchase I'll do tomorrow. So chunking it down, doing the TikTok shop thing today. Tomorrow I'll do another shop. Then off to the post office tomorrow with both returns together. Hun, that sounds like an awesome plan. So Marietta, I just have to ask you, how are you feeling? Because I'm feeling pretty good about your progress. I hope you are too. I hope you are too. Because this was something that earlier today, there was a part of you that kind of said, for the most part, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I can't do it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a pain. Rah, rah, rah. We all, trust me, I rail against stuff like that too. And then you do it and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. You know? So yay for you doing the thing you said you were going to do earlier today. Did anybody else do something that they were psyched about that they did today? Feel free to share it. Yeah, Marietta is also saying, I feel great because now that's money I can spend on other Christmas gifts. So notice how there was earlier today, you had a fear that my answer for you was going to be to stop shopping. Nah, why would I do that to you? But now the neat thing is thinking of how you can transform the things you already own into something else you want. The returns I have, I can transform into money and spend on gifts for other people or myself during the holiday season. Melissa is starting cooking because going out to eat is so much money, having leftovers for lunch. Yeah, I am eating in the house more than ever, even though I went to this banh mi pop-up because friends of ours were doing that. And yeah, I am probably inadvertently saving money because I'm just eating at home, because if I'm not inspired to eat anything, it pretty much turns into girl dinner where it's just like I just need to eat something so I'm not hungry anymore. Pardon me, I'm just going to plug in my phone. There we go. So it is a Wednesday night, about 8:15. We're going to be here for about 45 minutes or so. Taking a look in your rearview mirror. If you were following the thing that I do, you don't have to. If you made a list, this was your 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and you have mostly the stuff done, and you've crossed off, walked down, saw the sunset. Sunset was not as good as yesterday. Kathy and Sean did not go with me, but I did. Yep. What would you be writing in your good book? I bet in your good book of good stuff happening. See, here's an interesting thing, to me anyway. When I was going through those photos, I started on the side jotting down kind of the stories that some of these photos took. And I realized that some of these photos represented things that I didn't really need to remember. Or did I need the details? That 30 years, the list, the thing that I wrote of, let's see, I saw some bands. No, this was the other side. Sorry, 1993. We had some cookouts and parties and played mini golf. I worked at Pier 1. This was a fun thing. In some of the backgrounds of my photos, you see the beginnings and the majority, you see my snow dome collection. So it's kind of funny to see the things in my photos that I still have that I did not declutter. Also, I see the people in the photos that are still in my life, and I saw plenty of people who aren't in my life anymore, either through divorce or death or just drifting. The 3 Ds, I guess. So it was, I will admit, if you're doing decluttering of sentimental memorabilia, it really is like time travel. It really is like time travel, and you will feel it in your body. You will feel it. It will drain you. And just please know that. So don't be surprised when it happens. Yesterday, I did one of these albums, and then today I did a few more, and I was drained afterwards a bit. Not totally empty, but it did. Going 30 years in the past, seeing what I looked like, remembering what friends we were hanging out with, where I lived, the clothing I was wearing. Oh God, the clothing everybody was wearing. We wore the most ginormous shorts in the early 90s. My God, they were humongous on everybody. It was kind of hysterical. And then porting yourself 30 years in the future to being right now, to be like, kind of, you look up from these photos and you're looking and you're living in a different state, and some of those people are still in your life and some are not. It does take a little bit of energy out of you. So what I did was, I felt good about what I did. I'm leaving it right there because it's the looks temporarily worse on the way to looking more permanently better. I have a surface right here that I've spread out. And I went outside and I took a walk. And I know there's a song in there that's all over TikTok. I'm not going to go there because I didn't like it when it came out. So I got myself reacclimated and I feel good about what I did. I almost thought when I came back from getting my sandwich, between getting my sandwich and getting into my robe, that I was going to continue on the photos. And I said, no, you know what? I feel good about what I did. My gas tank is low. Tomorrow, I will look at my schedule. Thursday, November 6th. I also have another busy day tomorrow. My goodness. My goodness. So I might do some. I might not. Oh no, you know what? No, you don't know, but actually there we go. And it's like the washing machine guy is going to come. Fascinating, huh? But I'm going to write it down. So I may do some, I may not, but I did something that I not necessarily have been avoiding 30 years. Yeah. But I have been carrying around all those photos that really represented very few. Like, I went to Brimfield. We had a cookout. We went to this place. I took some pictures of some diners. I wore some clothes. Like, it was very like one sentence stories. At least the one sentence that I'd want to remember, if anything. You know? Just something to think about. Hey, Judy Dukes is feeling good. Started my Thanksgiving list today. And there, look, you found last year's after the TikTok. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about this morning. Having kind of that benefit of creating a list to help you get your thoughts out of your head and down on paper. And also realizing that certain holidays, there are certain things we do over and over again, and sometimes we call them traditions, and sometimes it's just something we do over and over again. So Judy Dukes is going to use her source material from last year. Her primary list from last year is going to inform and make it easier for her to do whatever she wants to on Thanksgiving. So awesome, Judy Dukes. And the fact that you could find something that you didn't think you still had. Decluttering helps you find something that you are looking for. This is the kind of subset. This is where my brain is looking at this. We've got when you define your destination, you say part of your definition is saying, how do I want it to look? How do I want it to function? And how do I want it to feel? Kind of in that order, because it can be, how do I want my house to feel? I don't know. And here's a great thing. Yeah. And writing notes to self to remember what to do different next time. Judy is saying, I had a reminder not to make so many morning of recipes. You know what's weird, Judy? I kind of remember that from last year. But learning from what you did last time, reminding yourself not to make as big a quantity of something, thinking it. And it's weird too sometimes. I don't know if anybody else experiences this during the holidays, but when you have large serving bowls, it can feel awkward to not have them full. And yet when you think of the quantity of people that you may be having for dinner, and the quantity, I'm going to think of green beans because I'm always making the green beans. The quantity of green beans, they may take a spoon, they may take two, but it may be one of those things where you find yourself throwing away a lot of food simply because your serving bowl is too big for the amount of people you're serving, and you feel awkward not having it kind of, overflowing with food. Yay. Yay for reminders. That was last year Judy taking care of this year Judy. So rock on. Rock on. So making a list, checking it twice, making a list and starting sooner rather than later is going to be very beneficial. Speaking of things that are sooner rather than later, just reminding you because I'm going to cross off today's YouTube. So Thursday is tomorrow. We have TikTok Live and YouTube Live. Friday, we've got a decluttering party. Sunday, we have a decluttering party. Monday, we have a decluttering party. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, yada, yada. Of next week, we will also have, what do you call them? Can you tell it's late at night? Late. It's like 8 o'clock, though technically with the time change, it's 9 o'clock, 9:22. We have TikTok Lives and YouTube Lives next week. I just haven't put them up there yet, but they are scheduled. They will happen. Do not worry. Okay. So does anybody here remember something from their last Thanksgiving? And Narelle, maybe you guys do. We do Thanksgiving here on the last Thursday of November, turkey, cranberry sauce, and all that kind of stuff. Damn, Marietta, that's great. Here, I'll interrupt myself to tell you the good news. I also think action multiplies itself. So notice, Marietta got started and she was collecting up the stuff and then she had some momentum. She had a little bit of one of those things that I'm calling kind of a self-perpetuation, a perpetual motion machine. I made a cottage pie from scratch, did a load of laundry, scheduled a massage. Oh, excellent. Refilled medication and made a doctor's appointment. It's a snowball effect. Okay. So the good news is, Marietta, you wrote that down. You wrote that down in the comments right here. You may forget, though, tomorrow that you did all that. That's one of the reasons why I recommend to people, and wow, I'm about halfway through this book, to have a book where you write these things down. Now, the reason I say this is because please do not be surprised if tomorrow when you wake up, because you had so much activity today, you may be a little bit tired tomorrow. So if you are tired tomorrow, oftentimes it can be very helpful to look in the rearview mirror and say, are there any circumstances that would cause me to have been tired? And all this stuff you did today may cause you to be a little bit tired. All right. I just want to remind you of that so you're not fearful, because sometimes when I'm not feeling good physically and when I'm tired, I tend to think, oh, geez, I'm sad, I'm depressed, something's wrong. And then I literally have to tell myself, you're not depressed, you're just tired. Nothing is wrong here. Actually, that's what I say. Nothing is going wrong here. All is well. You are just tired. I love this. I have to laugh because Narelle says, I cleaned my bedroom a little, found a lot of dust. Yeah. Did my breakfast dishes and made my sandwich. My youngest son will walk through the door any minute, having done his last school exam. Wow. Wow. Yeah, wearing a school uniform for the last time ever. Okay, that's a moment. Yeah, I wouldn't think you did Thanksgiving, increasing number of decorations for Halloween, but I refuse. Yeah, good on you. Yeah, I will say. Yeah, Thanksgiving's totally like I almost said a Massachusetts holiday. It's a United States holiday. So yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, Marietta's saying very true. Thanks. Very true. I would mentally raise the ante. Like, how much can I do tomorrow? You might be able to do that, but you might not have as much energy. So just please notice that sometimes we need time to not just rest, but recover as well. Yeah. No, Marietta says Massachusetts does Thanksgiving best because that's kind of where it was invented. And Narelle is saying it sounds stressful. Well, here's the funny thing. It can be as stressful as you want it to be, but it's probably more stressful for some people than others. I do not enjoy cooking or making food. So if I had to do it myself, I would be extra stressed. I actually know friends who enjoy cooking who are kind of looking forward to that. So yay for them. But yeah, tends to be a lot of work to hand make some foods that we don't eat year round, and we don't do a lot of formal dinners, and then I always crack up because I remember my mother saying this too, that it's a whole lot of work for about a 20-minute meal, and then you're out in the kitchen putting things away and doing the dishes, you know? So what we do is we do a bit of a, well, this would be like Snoopy Easter maybe. I can't remember what they did for Snoopy Thanksgiving, but everybody brings something. So I am known for bringing the green beans the way my grandmother made them, which was simply just cut up into small bits and butter and salt and pepper. Wicked simple, simple New England food. Okay. And yes, Marietta says, Massachusetts says it, Beth, especially Plymouth. Yeah, that's where the Plymouth Rock is. Actually, um, Plymouth Rock and the Mayflower and all that. So I highly recommend, yeah, doing that. Now, did I miss something? There we go. I did. I apologize. Sue, I decluttered most of my holiday serving pizzas in fine china. I forgot and was pleasantly surprised when I opened the drawers on the sideboard. Now, Sue, you know what? That's a great feeling to sort of have surprised yourself. And you know what's kind of interesting? If I am not mistaken, you have done more decluttering previously than you remember doing. If I'm not mistaken, you and I did um, a decluttering party, and you were kind of dreading going through a tote of paper. And then when you went to go open the tote of paper, you had forgotten that you had already gone through it, and it was pretty much just a giant box of shred me. So, what a cool feeling saying thank you to previous you in the past. I was talking about time travel, looking at old photos and kind of porting yourself back to 1993, 94, 95. I think I almost am in 96 now. Um, and then coming back to the present. There's even time travel of previous you, the ghost of you past, you in the past decluttered, but present day you forgot about it. But it's a nice little fun gift to remind yourself that you did that. So yay. Yay, good stuff. Good stuff. Now, I highly recommend anybody who is planning any kind of thing, project, holiday, start to make your list, start to do your brain dump of what you're imagining. And again, it's kind of like the destination decluttered, kind of, I don't even know what to call it, like protocol. What do you want the end result to be? And here's an interesting thing to think of. Many times people will say, well, I got to buy the stuffing and I got to buy this and I got to cook the food. They often forget, how do I want to feel on that? What is the main goal? And please write it down to remind yourself of when your focus on the stuff that isn't so important could be taking away from what is important. And that could be, I want to feel relaxed. I want to be able to focus and be fully present with the people I am surrounding myself with. I don't want to feel stressed out. I want to be able to enjoy myself. And if that's the true thing that you want to do, perhaps it's one of those things where you don't make your food as fussy as you have in years past. Here's a fun thing. I was telling somebody about it today as I was picking up my sandwich because we were waiting. So I don't know if you guys have this food where you are. You might, because it's not necessarily strictly Pennsylvania thing, but in Norrell. So I live in Pennsylvania now, in the Philadelphia area. In the Philadelphia area, we are known for our sandwiches that are called hoagies. If I was in Massachusetts, we would call it a submarine sandwich. They're on like a long roll of bread. So one of the hoagies we are most famous for is a cheesesteak hoagie. It's like chopped up ribeye steak, fried on a grill with melted cheese or cheese whiz and onions sometimes, pizza sauce, all that type of thing. So a Philly cheesesteak is something you may have heard of. Now, within the past, 10 years or so, people that make appetizers in stores in restaurants and whatnot, one of the fun things people have been doing has been making like egg rolls, like from Chinese food. And so one of the things that's famous from our area now, or people are kind of doing, is cheesesteak egg rolls. Well, there's a place that opened up in our town that makes these kind of unusually flavored egg rolls. And no lie, I saw on TikTok that they're making a Thanksgiving one. Around here, a lot of places have sandwiches and hoagies called the gobbler. I believe Capriotti's, which I think was originally based in Delaware, had it, where it's almost like that delicious leftover sandwich from Turkey. It's got turkey and stuffing and mayonnaise maybe and stuff like that. And they're making a turkey cranberry stuffing wrapped in uh, a cheese, not a cheesesteak roll, excuse me, wrapped in uh, why am I blanking on it? Egg roll. That was it. Egg roll thing and deep fried. You know I'm going to try that. So yeah, Marietta almost got one at Wawa. Got a gobbler at Wawa. Marietta. I'm getting a gobbler from Wawa. I know this is total regional talk, you guys. It sounds like, doesn't it sound like a foreign language? I'm getting a gobbler from the Wawa. If you're in Jersey or Philly or in PA, you know what we're talking about. Anybody else is going to be, you're going to get a what from the where? I love that stuff though. I'm getting one on Friday because um, I am getting a massage on Friday. And one of the silly traditions my husband and I got in the habit of was stopping at Wawa and getting a hoagie after we get our massages because we didn't want to cook dinner. So yay. Yeah. Got a gobbler from the Wawa. Love it. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Sue, I love it. Yes, I closed my office quickly but happily after 10 years to work from home. Then my parents passed and I was detoured to travel and do their home. Now back to my home after the pause. Surprises all around. Yeah. Yeah, I'll meet you in the Wawa parking lot. Too funny. Ah, good stuff. Yeah. So Narelle, yeah, it's called a hoagie. And as far as I'm aware, one of the attributions is that they say that it used to be kind of a sandwich that the workers would get that was just filled with kind of meats and cheeses, probably like leftovers from dinner or whatever, and it was put in kind of a roll and wrapped up so they would have something to eat and you wouldn't have to use forks and knives. And then Hog Island, because we actually have a place around here, a hoagie shop called Hog Island. It was called a hoggie, then a hoagie. I know, isn't it funny, Narelle? Isn't? But I bet there are some things where you are that would sound like a foreign language to somebody as well. But isn't it kind of fun? Isn't it neat that there can be those things that connect us because Marietta knows what I'm talking about, but also that we can share? That was originally, at least what we were told, was the first Thanksgiving, which was probably just a made up story about the Indians, the Native Americans sharing their bounty with the pilgrims. So sharing your gobbler hoagie. Yeah. So yeah. And Kim Harris is saying Wawa is now in North Carolina. Wawa is like everywhere. Yep. Yep. Jazzy Girl 24100. You look like you've lost weight. I have in two ways. I've lost a few pounds willingly, happily. And also I got a haircut today. So yeah, so my head looks extra, either big or small. But thank you. What I'm taking that, I will take that as a compliment. I'm feeling good physically, better than I ever have. Um, and yeah, there's that. It was something that I didn't like and I did something about it. That's what decluttering is really, is deciding something that's bugging you and doing something about it. Okay, looking wonderful. Well, thank you. Feeling wonderful too, which is almost even more important, and feeling good when I look in the mirror and, getting a massage and going to yoga and all that fun stuff. So it's 8:35. We've got about 25 minutes together. What would you like to offer? Would anybody like to, what are some things that you all like to do? How about this? One of the things that happens on these evening TikTok lives is many of us, obviously your time zone will dependent on it, but many of us will be slowly kind of transitioning and getting ready for bed. And one of the best things that a human body can do to put more gas in your tank for the following day is to get a good night's sleep. So, what might be fun is right now to kind of just think about, how can I set myself up for success tomorrow? How can today me take care of tomorrow me? What are some things that I know work for me to increase the likelihood that I will have a good night's sleep? So I've already started mine. As you can tell, I have my robe on underneath it. I've got some comfortable clothes that I can slide right into bed in. I've already washed my face, brushed my teeth, flossed my teeth. This is kind of fun. Anybody who's doing a habit tracker, it's still the beginning of the month. Today's only the 5th. Washing my face and brushing my teeth is on mine, so I'm going to check it out. I'm drinking water number 2, teeth brush and face wash. Yep. Teeth floss. Oh, and that's right. I need to take my night vitamins. So, what are some things you like to do that help you have a good night's sleep? One of the things I like to do, so maybe this will help you, is I like to make sure that the curtains are shut so that it's nice and dark when I go to sleep. Now, Cheryl is saying, I'm already in bed resting and enjoying this live. Now, here's a funny thing, Cheryl, I will share with you. So many folks out there will tell you that, you shouldn't look on your phone in bed and the blue lights in your eyes and it throws off your systems. That may be true. But one of the things I enjoy doing is crawling into bed, not crawling into bed, getting into bed. And I like reading, but sometimes I get too tired to read and I like to scroll a little bit. So I'm there with you. I mean, not physically, obviously, but I'm with you. Going into bed and scrolling on my phone is something I'll do for a little bit. And then I'll get tired and then I'll shut off the light. I make sure that I have just the right amount of blankets on me. There we go. Jazzy girl, what a great idea. I turn down the heat and turn all the lights off and listen to some calming music. Yes, I have not an app. There's something on my iPhone that I saw recently. How is it? Okay. So this might help. This might be of interest. Out of control. Okay. So on my phone here, I found a thing that is a sleep ambient bedtime music playlist that you can add to your iPhone. Now, it's not the best ambient music playlist, but it's easy and free. So that can help. That can help. I like to make sure that my blankets, I feel a little bit like Goldilocks Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I don't want my blankets to be too heavy. I don't want my blankets to be too light. I want them to be just right. And that will depend on the temperature of myself, but also the house. So that's something I will think about. I will have an extra blanket of a certain weight at the ready if I'm feeling like I want a little bit of a heavier blanket, but I can also kind of toss it to the side if I get overly hot. That was a big issue when I was going through the menopause, was being too hot in the hot tub. I used to be cold. Now I get cold occasionally. So think about those things that you could do right now that, much like Therapy Gal Sue from years ago had already done some stuff so that she wouldn't have to go through that paperwork anymore. That Judy put her note from last Thanksgiving somewhere where this year's Judy could find it. Taking care of yourself a year in advance or 20 years in advance, a day in advance. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, so Narelle says, I'm in bed for most YouTube lives. It's nice to be fully awake. Right, at this time. Yeah, I don't feel like a declutter partying at 3 a.m. Who would? Not me, but we'll join a party one day. There you go, Narelle. That would be fun. Yeah. I just totally lost my train of thought. I was going to say something. It's all good. It's all good. Just taking care of yourself, your today self, love yourself right now. Do what you can to make yourself feel comfortable to go to bed. Go to bed, get some sleep, and that's helping tomorrow you too. The other thing too is think of past you. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. It's too or yeah, I'm too early for bedtime in Central Standard Time, right, set my alarm for 9 o'clock for bedtime, yeah, because 'cause we're coming up on 9 o'clock Eastern right here, instead of 11. Yeah, closing down the kitchen, trash out, and now quietly opening the mail. Yeah, and here's the interesting thing too, is that here in the United States too, Narelle, we just did, like, the changing of the clocks, like, daylight savings time either began or ended, I can never keep them straight. So at this time of night, it's getting dark really early for us, and it's thrown me off for a loop. I've been extra tired this week because of that. Because, for example, the clock says it's 8:41, but this time last week it was 9:41. Mhm. Alrighty. So Judy Duke says, I have been struggling with getting to sleep for about 3 weeks. Might be from my GLP at a highest dose. Dread bedtime. Judy Dukes, Judy Dukes, get in touch with your doctor. Get in touch with your doctor. Let them know about this and see if there's something you can do about it. Because not getting sleep is not good for all sorts of other things in your health. Okay. And your doctor is part of your team. If you think about it, I was talking to somebody about it the other day. Your doctor is part of your toolkit. Your health toolkit has a doctor in it. Yes, spring forward and fall back. Exactly, Don. So get in touch with your doctor about it. Now, the cool thing is for me, what has made such a great difference in a lot of this stuff. So maybe this will help you, Judy Dukes. I don't know if your doctor has a portal, like an online portal where you can ask questions and set up stuff. But please, if you're struggling and you're dreading going to bed, do something about that. Start to take care of future Judy and start to practice being your own patient advocate. Stand up for yourself. If something's going wrong, do something to help get it corrected. Okay, notice she started me on a med, but it's not helping. That is also good information for your doctor to know. Yeah. That the medication's not working. Document this stuff, but don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on us, baby. Okay? Oh. Now, hey, this sounds nice. Lady Bandit says, I sat in my favorite chair and cleaned out a box of recipes from my mom's house. Yeah. I have a box of recipes that's from my mother-in-law. Will I ever make those recipes? No, but they're there as like a little sentimental thing in the kitchen, and it's fun to see them. Here's an interesting thing too. Tonight where I am, it's a full moon, and it's supposed to be the beaver moon. It's very bright, and it's supposed to be kind of symbolic of letting go of things that you no longer want, releasing what no longer serves you. Yeah. Now, Leslie, oh my God, same here sometimes. I wake up in the night and use my phone, but end up awake too long. Ideas. Yeah. And I've been trying this myself. That is a habit, and it is a very sticky habit. Yes. Easy to say, put the phone down, but I'd like an alternative. Um, I'm assuming that because that happens to me too. I do that too. And I have learned to literally, I can almost feel my hand reaching over to my phone, and I've learned to not do that. Easy to say, put the phone down, but I'd like an alternative. So I'm assuming, Leslie, that your goal is to get back to sleep. So some of these things that may work could be this: putting on some music that might be calming, kind of like how we do the body scan when we're going from the crown on down. One of the things I've been told is to do a scan and it's called like progressive relaxation, where you start either at your toes and you're just very mindful and you try to relax each toe, and then you relax and release kind of the tension in your muscles like that, and you breathe deeply. That can help. Sometimes I have one I used for decades that works to varying degrees is counting backwards from 100 and trying to do it perfectly. What I mean by it is certain times I will drift off, I will distract myself, and it's like, no, 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 try to go from 100 to 0, and if I get distracted around, 85 or something, then I go back to 99, 98, 97, 96. You know where it goes. That can help. The other thing too, and you might look this up, and I think they probably have it on YouTube or TikTok. I have experimented with this. I don't think it works, and I feel kind of goofy doing it, but I'll give it a shot. There is a thing that I've heard people saying on TikTok about closing your eyes and looking like from the right to the left, up and down. I don't know, up to the corner, down to the corner, up to the corner, down to the corner, like cross-eyed. Like there's some sort of thing you can do that you're concentrating on what to do with your eyes, and it can help you fall asleep. Yeah. Now, Dawn is saying, sometimes when I wake up at 2 a.m., I grab my iPad and catch up on a favorite podcast. That could be a thing. Norel says, I listen to audiobooks to go back to sleep. I'll put a 20 or 30-minute timer on. That's a great idea. But usually go back to sleep in about 5 or 10. Yeah, I will say this, any of those things that you can do with technology that has kind of a built-in sleep timer, I think is perfect. That's one of the detriments about using social media as a thing to do until, quote, you feel tired, is social media is designed to keep you stuck to it. It's sticky. It makes you want, it is designed to do that. Yeah. So all of these things, again, that is a toolkit to help you when you wake up. Also, frankly, when I wake up sometimes, it's because I have to pee. So I do. I get up and pee, but I also try to keep the lights off and hopefully not, trip over a pair of shoes. I try to keep myself almost in sleep mode, you know? Um, there was something else I was just thinking of. Because when I feel tired, I don't know about you, but I'll just share this concept because this may be beneficial. Is when I am waking up from being asleep, I almost feel like in my sleep I am submerged. I am heavy and I'm kind of under water. In a good way. Like the only thing I think is heavy and underwater. As I start to wake up, notice waking up, I start to kind of float to the surface. And sometimes I don't want to. I want to stay underneath. So I will keep the lights down. I will keep my eyes kind of closed. I will try to keep myself in that mode to keep myself back in it. At a certain point, if you have gotten up too much, sometimes that wakes me up and it's much harder to get to sleep. Yeah. Yeah, melatonin is something that is, could do that. That could be a thing. Um, yeah, and if counting backwards, I think that people are saying the vertigo or something, I would say this, then count forwards. Count from 1 to 100. Mix it up. It's nothing wrong with that. It's just a bunch of experimentation. And one last thing, Leslie, that I'll share with you is sometimes when it's a certain amount of time, I'm like, I may not go back to sleep. Oh, this is another one too, Leslie, that has helped me is keeping the room dark. And also, I have an eye mask, but a weighted eye mask that I can put. And I may do that tonight. Thank you, Leslie, for the reminder. It's like a long tube of fabric and it's filled with beans or something. And it's probably got a little bit of a scent to it. And I bought it, and you put it in the microwave until it warms up. And even if it's not warm, and you can put it on your eyes, and the weight of that keeps it dark, and that pressure feels kind of soothing. Yeah. Now that's an interesting thing. Narelle, I hadn't heard of that one. If you really can't sleep, get yourself cold as you can bear and then snuggle into a warm bed. Oh, I love that. Because I don't like to be cold. So I would be excited to snuggle into the bed. Mm-hmm. So maybe try any of these things. Much like we said that you've got your toolkit for decluttering. Yeah, Dawn says weighted blankets can be nice too. Yeah, depending upon the weight and your temperature and all that. All of these are just tools for you to experiment with, to have more things that you can do as replacements for reaching for your phone and scrolling on TikTok. And I mean, I'm outing myself when I say that because that tends to be one of my go-tos. So I practice disrupting that habit. And then instead of just stopping it, and this is like decluttering and learning how to not clutter, not just stopping the unwanted habit, but starting and replacing it with a better habit. So you have kind of a substitution. So these things are all substitutions for what you've previously done that you may not be too psyched about it. But if you do pick up your phone and scroll, don't beat yourself up, you know? Yeah, I really and Leslie, I'm glad I mentioned this to you because as I said, like in about what, 9 minutes or so, I'm gonna shut down things in this room and walk into the other room. And I actually have the weighted one I have is actually longer because they didn't have the eye masks when I went back to get it, but they have one that's longer so you can kind of put it around your neck and stuff. And so I have actually kept that kind of between the mattress and the headboard because my husband's not around to push it out of the way or whatever, so that it's in easy reach if I want to put it on, you know? And yeah, oh, I think Leslie, frankly, I don't think you're alone in the sleep thing. And here's the deal too, is I know there are studies done that as you get older, you actually sleep less than you did at certain times in your life. And you sleep probably more, as I say, kind of more shallow. So what I tend to tell myself too is if I'm in bed and I am kind of struggling to fall back to sleep, I will tell myself, if my body truly needs the sleep, my body will fall asleep. I trust my body to do the right thing. And if it needs the sleep, it will fall asleep. And if it doesn't fall asleep, that's okay. But one of the things I will do though is I will write down. Awesome, Leslie. Yay. I can't wait to hear what works for you. Um, that could also be a topic of conversation with the old people on your Viking River cruise, because I'm sure everybody's got a tip. But notice, please, when you haven't slept well the night before, much like we were talking almost 50 minutes ago with Marietta about all the cool things she got done today. Remind yourself throughout the day that if you start to feel tired throughout the day, look back. Did you have a good night's sleep? You may forget that and you may be like, why am I so tired? And why does everything seem so difficult? And then you stop and you look in the rear view mirror back to just not even 12 hours ago. Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot that I woke up at 4 a.m. and I really couldn't go back to sleep or get back to sleep. So I stayed there and rested because rest is still good. Rest and recovery. There was an interesting thing today that I saw, again, my primary news source, TikTok. And a gentleman was talking about the difference between like relaxation and recovery. The things that we do for self-care that are just resting, but if you don't feel nurtured after that, sometimes self-care looks different. I encourage you to find the video. If I see it, I'll try to repost it. But notice the things you can do to make yourself feel better. Okay. All righty. Now Cheryl Siegel says, I have a body length heating pad in my bed. Oh, again, that sounds delightful. And I'm not even as cold as I used to be. Hello, menopause. I have a body length heating pad in my bed and I put it on for about an hour. Helps my RA, rheumatoid arthritis, I think, and helps me relax. Now, I will share with you, I no longer have it. Hello, menopause. But one of the most delightful things I was introduced to within the past 10 years or so. So those of you who still get chilly or like to slide into a warm bed still, is a heated mattress pad. Now, I don't have it on all night, and I believe, if I remember correctly, it had like two sides because my husband definitely didn't need it, but a mattress pad so that the mattress itself, like the bottom bun, if you're the hamburger, the bottom of the bun was nice and warm, and when you preheated the bed, It got your covers nice and warm too, so you slid in. And for those of us who struggle with cold feet, and not like the euphemistic type, but the literal cold toes, oh, so delightful. Well, I will say we've got about 3 to 5 minutes left because I may stop this a little bit early because all this talk of sleep and all these delightful things we can do is making me eager to get into bed. Yeah, and it really is wonderful. I have been known to put the heating pad down at the bottom of the bed in between the mattress, like the fitted sheet and the top sheet, right? I've somehow sometimes in the dead of winter I will preheat the bottom part of there just so my frozy toesies can get nice and warm. Doesn't that sound nice? So, yeah, why don't we sign off a few minutes? We're talking about sleep anyway. Why don't we go practice some of these things? I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure that the room darkening blinds are shut in my room. I'm going to use this water that I was hydrating with and thinking of Leslie as I was doing it. I'm going to take my evening medications. I'm going to do that. I'm going to heaten up that wrap. Okay? And that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, I'm going to scroll on TikTok for a little bit, but then I'm going to sign off. Okay? You guys, let's all make a plan to have a nice sleep and sweet dreams to you. I will not sing the whole Lawrence Welk song, but if you know it, sing it in your head. Okay. So tomorrow we've got a TikTok live and a YouTube live. Friday we've got a party. Sunday we've got a party. Monday we've got a party. All sorts of good stuff happening. Sweet dreams, everybody. Bye bye.